What's good, everybody? Afternoon. Take a look here at today. As we spoke about last night, we wanted to see if we couldn't attack sell side. So we have kind of higher time frame objectives of returning into buy side in the longer term sense. But we've kind of engineered a lot of sell side. We just wanted to see if we couldn't run that. We ran it here, right? Created a short term low on Monday. And then here today, we've actually ran and cleared that low once, twice before New York. So for us, we were really waiting to see if we couldn't show some sign of reversal to capitalize on now that we picked up higher time frame sell side. So I would clear sell side here and then clear it again here. At this point, we had done that prior to 9:30. So if we're going to run out that sell side before 9:30, we would look to see if price wouldn't want to give us an opportunity to go long. Just here now in a 5-minute time frame, we see those same liquidity points. So we create this low here on Monday. London creates a initial low that clears that sell side, and then kind of over that rollover period before 8:30, the 9:30 opening, we actually clear London's low as well. At this point, we notice that we create a bearish fair value gap as we pass through that level, close underneath it. So if we were to return above that level, we would expect that would become that inversion. We see that we actually get above it, creating now another 5-minute fair value gap. So this morning, this is kind of what we were working within, with the understanding that we've cleared sell side. We kind of have a 3 drives pattern forming from the high. Right, we spoke about that as well. If I was going to a higher time frame, on these 3 drives lower here, you'll see that we can take this high swing point. Right, this high is 1. We then come back up, create another swing lower, which is 2, retrace, and now we have our 3rd drive. So we wanted to see if we couldn't attack the previous highs here, here, and here, and that's actually what we got today. So as we work back to that lower time frame now, remember this is that most recent sell side that we've just cleared. We have a 1-minute inversion here as well. And on the way up, remember we also create that higher time frame 5-minute. So we're also relying on that. We see now as we head into 9:30, we have created this consolidation. So we create this high 840, we create this low, and then we actually kind of remain within that as we head into the 9:30 opening. So now for us, we were still wanting to see a potential run higher. We're looking for higher prices. We have just cleared this liquidity. We've created 3 drives. We've purged and reverted, engineering an inversion while creating a new discount aligned with it. So when we see something like that, and now we're creating consolidation prior to 9:30, right? We had news at 10 as well. We're really expecting that consolidation is being created to basically run stops. So now our first entry that we shared, right, came as we ran this sell side liquidity right at 9:43. So at 9:30, we go up, we clear some short-term buy side. We still hold within this higher time frame fair value gap, right? The 4-hour fair value gap here. So we're holding the fair value gap. We then reverse lower and we attack this sell side. We're not expecting price to run through this low and now run through this low either. We expect this to be protected low. We expect this inversion paired with the 5-minute fair value gap to hold us. So we're comfortable entering as we enter into this 5-minute fair value gap for the first time, right? Paired with kind of basically running these stops. So that's turtle soup. We're entering as we run stops, but it's also paired with the 5-minute fair value gap. At that point, we then create the low. We break structure here at this high, and we were honestly looking at this as the breaker. So it gave a little deeper retracement than we like to see, right? We didn't break with a fair value gap, so it's lower probability. Our second entry came here on this inversion volume imbalance. So now as price broke structure at this high, when we trade into the volume imbalance, we try to go long there. Stop underneath the low, as we mentioned, get real close to it. We end up creating equal lows, holding the actual 1-minute inversion, and then breaking structure again, right? Testing this old liquidity pool one more time before finally trading higher, breaking through this high. And now as we break through this high, we leave behind a 1-minute fair value gap. So now we're in the silver bullet hour, right between 10 and 11. We have a fair value gap that gets formed. Price has shown an unwillingness to continue lower, and we're already looking for higher prices. So now when we create this 1-minute fair value gap, Notice how it's aligned beautifully with the low of the 4-hour as well. So we're overlapping now fair value gaps. We understand that we have created equal lows here as well. So now we've engineered short-term liquidity that we can run as we return into the inefficiency before running higher. And that's exactly what we get. Short-term consolidation. We trade lower, run those stops. Look at the candle bodies holding that beautifully. And then from there, off to the races. We broke aggressively higher. We're turning into a new week opening gap. So we had this week's new week opening gap here is right at this level, 45.68. That's the high of it. So we hit it perfectly, close on it, give a retracement into a volume imbalance. Right, this volume imbalance is paired with the midnight level as well as the 830. So we'll actually pull that up and show you. So here now we can actually see this level here is our new day opening gap. Right, so basically where the day opened. This here is the midnight. So now we've created that volume imbalance. We speak of this as extra sensitive because this candle does not even return into this candle's close. So we've left that open completely. We expect that this fair value gap will hold us because it's now paired with the midnight level, and we've created a breakaway and a measuring gap. So we would want these to remain open. Price should not return into these two fair value gaps if we can continue higher. Right, so instead we come perfectly into that opening, into the midnight level, holding the actual volume imbalance, breaking back above now a 5-minute inversion here. At the same time, breaking above buy-side liquidity. So we're breaking through an old high, engineering a breaker, low, high, lower, low, broken. Right, and then notice as we are within this breaker, we're still utilizing the higher time frame fair value gap here. So you have one more opportunity to use this fair value gap as we come lower, right? Creating here a bullish fair value gap aligned with it as we now leave it. Price trades into the 5-minute, breaks away once, leaving one more fair value gap. Right, so we respect the discount, break, create a new discount, price holds that, and then finally pushes right up and through, right, new week opening gaps and the previous day high. We now create a new fair value gap along with that. Price wicks into it quickly. No candle bodies get near, consequent encroachment. And now we give another significant run higher. Right, so at this point, we're just reaching higher into an old buy side here. So we clear the high from Friday, right? Clear the consolidation highs that we created, a high from Wednesday as well. So after clearing this buy side, right, we'll pull up the high we're speaking of. So from Wednesday, 5-minute, you'll notice as we go ahead and run out this buy side, we now have created all this sell side. So, right, we've created the buy side of the curve. We'll want to see and now create that sell side of the curve, and this is where we took advantage of the shorts. So just understanding the market maker models, right, going from buy side to sell side. We've hit that buy side objective. We now break structure here through this low, hold the bearish fair value gap. Right, so now we start respecting premiums while breaking discounts. That's what we would see if the market's going to start delivering bearish. We break structure again at the low, creating now an inversion. So we break through this bullish fair value gap here. Notice we close below it on this candle. So now we can expect that the high of it will hold. And lo and behold, we return right into the high beautifully. As we're leaving it, we create a volume imbalance. But because we've already created a low here, right, as we're wicking lower here and retracing, when we leave this low, we have no reason to return above it. That's become balanced. And that's why you see price does not even try to return back into that level before continuing to sell off. So instead, we hold the previous day high, and we break structure back underneath the new week opening gaps. We create one volume imbalance aligned with that. So we have our volume imbalance here. You'll see that holds us, and now we get an aggressive stab lower through all of these lows here. So at this point, when we see this aggressive break lower, right back underneath the original buy side, and now closing underneath this low, our attention reverts back all the way to this original low here. So we understand that this bearish fair value gap will be used, right? We went short on consequent encroachment of it. So as we tap the consequent encroachment of it, we go short, stop above new week opening gap. Understanding price has no need to return back above that. Right, and for us, our first target really was just this volume imbalance, right? So it's kind of the low of this fair value gap we were aiming for. In case price just wanted to kind of bounce and didn't want to give us the full delivery, we took partials inside this fair value gap. And then our final target for us was just that sell side here. So kind of the original setup that propelled us higher, we would aim for that first swing low. And you see price runs right into that, hitting the 830 level, previous day low. And then we actually create and hold that low for the afternoon. Right, we create that low. We try one more time to get into it. We actually create SMT here because NQ ran this low. ES, however, fails to run that low, holding instead the 830 level. Right, we can see that here. We hold that 830. We break above now established premiums using those as inversions. So this volume imbalance here, right, this set as well. We use them as support, break structure higher, fair value gaps that get left behind in here, create short-term support as we trade back up into our new day opening gap here. At this point, once we hit that midnight level again, we've already had so much movement, right, higher and now lower. We've really created that buy to sell side of the curve. We did leave these lows here in place, but remember, we've hit the 830, we've hit a previous day low, and now we've cleared that original sell side. So when price reverts kind of back into this range here now, we just consolidate back and forth. So the afternoon ends up just consolidating between where the day opened up and kind of that 830 level. Right, of course, you always get little short-term movements back and forth. You can even see we have a short-term volume imbalance that holds us. So say you want to aim for something like 5 handles, right? As we run equal lows here, we break structure, volume imbalance paired with fair value gap. We use it shortly to run into short-term buy side here. And now after we clear that short-term buy side, notice how we overtake the fair value gap that gets created. Once we do that, close below it, we can expect that becomes an inversion. And now we reverse to attack just the sell side left behind. We actually left this low intact. So now we have relative equal lows sitting here that may want to be interacted with at some point. But we leave these lows intact, engineer a bearish fair value gap that gets overtaken, creating that inversion. So we close above here. We respect consequent encroachment now as an inversion, sending us back into buy side one last time. And as we headed into market close, just chopped here around that buy side level. So you'll see we closed right around that old buy side. Yeah, for us, that's really how the day went. We were able to take the longs here this morning. Wasn't able to get involved on any of this extended move, but we often speak of we're not having any sense of FOMO or anything like that. We understand there's always another opportunity, so there's no need to feel any type of way about missing a move like that. Right? We were able to secure profits. We're proud of that, and then we were able to take advantage of it on the way down. So miss the buy side, but get able to capitalize it on the sell side. Right, selling it into the sell side here. Going forward, still choppy. Still just continuing to range within this consolidation we've created. At this point, we're kind of holding this most recently formed bullish fair value gap. So after clearing some short-term sell side, breaking structure, if we can continue to hold this fair value gap, maybe we retest this high. That's kind of what we'll look for tomorrow. So we'll obviously have to see what we do overnight. But in the short term, maybe returning up to refill some of the inefficiencies up here. That's like on a 1 minute sense. That has never been filled in. We still have a small one up here as well. So maybe return into this new week opening gap paired with this fair value gap here. But yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Live stream tomorrow will be at 9:25 Eastern. So until then, have a good night, everybody, and we'll talk in the morning.